Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a nice, bright, early day for us here at PHLY Phillies podcast. Our usual friends. Oh, there's our first thumbs up as you are coming into the chat to join us for this morning drive. Hit that thumbs up button, join the chat. Welcome in. We've got Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington. It's an early morning because today is the day that we all fly down to Clearwater. So our flight is this afternoon. We've got to start things earlier today to make sure we can get down to the airport quickly and stress-free as best as possible.
And get our airport beer, Renee. That's why we got to rush out of here.
Yes.
An all-time favorite beer, lawnmower beer, down the shore shower beer, outside, airport beer, might be the top 3 beers on getaway
It's
day.
always the best because it's the fact that you know you're about to go somewhere fun, too. That makes it that much better.
I have 5 days away from children. Do you know how excited I am? I love my kids more than anything. But I am ready to wake up when I want to wake up and to do what I want to do for 5 days.
Jamie, we're still waking up at like 6 in the morning every day. So I hope you're ready.
You can have fun with that. If you want to go do some morning yoga out on the beach or something, I will be.
Oh, that actually sounds delightful.
Yeah.
I don't even like yoga like that. Well, I do, but not like that. But
I'll be
morning
sleeping
yoga on the beach.
as I possibly can each morning. That's my goal. And as late as I can possibly go is probably 9:15.
The other thing I was going to say, because your body's not even going to let you sleep in. You're going to naturally be awake.
If I can get to 9 a.m.
But at least you can lay in bed.
I can.
Without
I can put on
having
TV.
to like, make me some breakfast.
I can watch what I want to watch. I don't have to watch Blippi
no
or
Blippi.
Trolls.
No.
None of that for 5 days.
There's no Peppa Pig in your house?
Can you tell I'm excited?
Yeah, like clearly. What's up, guys? Spiral out first in the chats. Chris, you were close. Jay, nice to have you here. We are here early because we're headed down to Florida today. We don't even have our countdown. Today is the day. It's C-Day, Clearwater Day. We're headed down to Clearwater in just a few hours so we to get our show knocked out. So that way we can be able to get to the airport. Spiral out. Congrats on being first. Number 1. That's a great start to the day for you. All right, today we've got to quickly run through some things. We're going to talk about some updates around the Phillies, specifically our buddy Nick Castellanos. We'll also get into the latest going up in the Bronx.
If you listen to sports radio.
Yeah.
Castellanos is going to have a good year.
We're going to talk about what's going on in the Bronx with the Yankees, Gerrit Cole, Aaron Judge, and potentially future Yankees, Dylan Cease, question mark.
Yeesh.
Plus, Blake Snell, what's going on there? And then we'll give you our top 3 ever Phillies first basemen. As we've been working through our depth chart, today is the day we head on over to first base. So with that being said, listen, Nick has been having, I'm gonna start there. We're gonna start light with some Phillies stuff because
Jay, not full time on the Starbucks, just the to-go cup for getaway day.
Oh.
Yeah, he called me out. He said, "Damn, Jamie, you're back on the Buckies."
Yeah, you are.
No.
Oh, breaking news on the show as we are sitting right here. I know Tyler just got it. I just got the alert. We have a debut today from none other than Brandon Marsh. He's going to be in the Phillies lineup today.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Possibility. He played in the inner squad on Monday, and it sounded like Wednesday he could make his debut. So that's great news.
He's ahead of the timeline, which is awesome news.
You want him to see live pitching before opening day, and now it looks like he'll be your opening day left fielder.
Yes, we have the return of Brandon Marsh. Definitely good to see that he's back in good timing, so he gets some spring training under his belt.
You have an alert for that?
I have alerts for like everything.
You're crazy with the alerts.
Yeah, the only issue is it's there we go. So I have for the Phillies on my MLB app, I get alerts for all so every day. They're actually behind schedule, which this is probably why. Typically the Phillies put out their lineup around 9 a.m. It's 9:35. They're a little bit late. I was expecting the lineup already.
Maybe he had to go through a couple more field tests to pass.
Yeah, it's seeming that way that they had to run through some last minute things. So the lineup for today we'll just knock out while we're talking about it. before the game this afternoon, the usual 1:05 start. We'll have, and it's actually a very similar lineup to what we should see. Schwarber, or it is the lineup that we should see for the most part. Kyle Schwarber starts things off. No surprise there. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, the 3 spot, JT. At number 4, Bryson Stott, Bohm, Castellanos, Marsh, back in it, Rojas, and then Nola on the mound. So today at 1:05,
your opening day roster.
In the game versus the Tigers, the Phillies are rolling out with what should be the opening day roster unless Zach Wheeler gets to start instead of Nola. So exciting times, and it definitely is seeming more like what we're going to get as the main lineup. Great start to the day, guys.
That will be your opening day lineup right there. They're pretty locked into this. They more or less did it yesterday with Merrifield and Pache replacing Marsh and Rojas. But it looks like JT is going to be your 4-hole hitter. Bryson Stott in the 5-hole. And I would imagine they stick with it for a little while until, hopefully it just works and they just roll with the same lineup.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer a set lineup as opposed to tinkering a lot in the first 2 months. Kyle Schwarber's going to get off to a slow start. We know that. Hopefully Trey Turner and Bryce Harper don't, and you just don't skip a beat. And, we've talked about it. Castellanos in the 7-hole is a nice little luxury.
Yeah.
And if Marsh and Rojas, do what they were doing last year offensively, at least before the playoffs, this lineup's going to be pretty nice.
It is. And honestly, it's just needed a couple tweaks. And so if JT can lock in there, you now have the luxury of having Bryson, Nick later on in the batting order. I'm all for it. And of course, if Marsh, Yoro can continue to give you good at-bats, should be exciting. So with that, let's actually talk about Nick Castellanos, because he did come out and mention that he's been feeling good. He's been feeling better this spring than he was last spring. He mentioned that one of the things that jumped out at him that he wants to get better at is his secondary leads, base running, because he said the reason why my secondary leads were good was because I was working on base running and secondary leads all season with Liam. Because yes, his 10-year-old Liam was a better base runner than him, and he's like, that can't happen. As any parent knows, there is that time where you're better than your kids at your sport, and then all of a sudden it swings.
He's approaching that age where he might be able to do a couple things.
Exactly.
What is he?
So
almost
Liam
12?
is 10.
10, okay.
Nick is 32. So he's also a very active 10 that's very involved. And,
shagging fly balls, living the dream.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is. So Liam being a better base runner than him was that motivation for him to work on it himself. Thank you, Liam, for challenging your dad. But he was also saying, he wants to just make sure that he has a better season. He's like, I don't have a crystal ball, but I can say I'm feeling better this year. And, it's been a solid stretch for Nick. And he also was saying that he's been working with Liam, who learned jiu-jitsu last year. And I love that, just having a chance. He's like, when I'm with Liam, I'm just a dad. That's all that we're focused on. He's learning some jiu-jitsu. And then Nick also decided to join Liam in learning jiu-jitsu too. 4 days a week, an hour at a time.
Oh. That's not a bad skill to have.
Yeah, and that's what he's like. He was like, somebody got to beat me up or kick my ass, he actually said, for 4 days a week, an hour at a time. Yeah, he didn't say beat me up.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. Look, if Nick can give you similar to what he gave you last year, you're in a good spot. Like, that's fine for what he is. Is he overpaid? I would say just slightly. It's Major League Baseball. Money's crazy. So like Nick Castellanos is fine. And if he can give you 80 plus RBIs out of the 7-hole, 85, 90, something like that, I don't expect him to maybe get over 100 again. If he can do that and hit a bunch of doubles, that's all you really need.
Exactly. I mean, last year during the stretch of about the first 3 months, there was a stretch that he was one of the best guys for the Phillies. He had the stretch in the beginning of the season where he was the best hitter. He had the worst month of his career in July. It's such an up and down season last year. If we can get more in the middle, that balance for Nick Castellanos. So jiu-jitsu, Nick Castellanos is who we've got going into 2024. What's up, Ray? Nice to have you here. Yes, we are starting earlier today because we are going down to Clearwater. So we had an earlier show so we can make sure to get down to the airport today. We're just running through some things this morning. So Nick Castellanos wants to age like a fine wine, as he said, as he's been, starting to try out some new hobbies and new ways to keep himself young, focused, and motivated. All right. So with that, a road trip that's possibly going to be happening. That would be a great trip for us if we would be able to go.
Yeah, I've never been here.
The Phillies and Mets are rumored to be playing a series in the DR. How about going to the Dominican Republic, guys? That would be next year in 2025.
Hey, Vince from Philly Sports Trips. Let's go. Let's get it in the works.
As excited as I am to go to Clearwater, Phillies, if you want to keep going to some great destinations, London, of course, spring training is always in Florida. You want to add Dominican Republic to that list? Yeah, you can twist my arm.
Yeah.
If you want to make me go to the DR, my passport, I just got updated. I just happen to be available.
I don't know when mine is, actually.
Oh, we better get it ready because we've got to get to the DR.
I think I'm still good for a couple years.
Well, as long as you physically find it.
Oh, I think I know where it is.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was just wondering if it's still good.
Yeah, you should be.
It's a good thing to know.
Yeah, it is. So maybe we'll be going in the Dominican Republic, guys. That'd be fun. That'd be awesome. And then just one other thing, specifically around the Phillies as we're looking ahead. There's just been some lists that have been coming out, and ESPN put out their top 100. We've been seeing various outlets have been putting out their top 100 lists. And great news, we've got some Phillies that made the top 100.
What's up, Matthew
surprise
H?
there. Love to see that. And it's always interesting to me, Jamie, when you see these lists and it's like the differences of where guys are ranked from one list to the next list. It's hard to, there's no consistency except for like the top 3 or 4 guys. Outside of that, you get a fluctuation of where guys are in that top 100.
Yeah, my computer, if you can't hear the fan blaring on the microphone, is failing me wonderfully, Renee. So I can't. The list is trying to load off of our show sheet, and I can't look at it. But yes, it's the usual suspects up there.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper, Zach Wheeler, JT Realmuto, Trey Turner, and was that it? I'm going off of memory.
Yeah, so the Phillies have 6 guys on the list. Bryce Harper is the highest at number 13. And I'll just run through the others that I can. Trey Turner sits at number 20 for this list. Zach Wheeler at 22. So we remember the Zach Wheeler, Trey Turner on the
Gerrit
last list. Aaron Nola is 52 on this list. JT ranks at number 60 on this list. And then you also have Kyle Schwarber at number 90. Rounding things out. And then Christopher Sanchez got noted in here as well. There's some mention about Christopher Sanchez and how he's been making leaps and bounds of improvements in his control and how he's someone that's, going to be a permanent installation in the Phillies rotation. So nice to see that he got a shout out as well, because he also did a list of guys, I guess, just more to look for in this season. Sleeper picks. So he's part of the sleeper picks that the league also put out. That's more for a fantasy baseball thing, but it's guys to keep an eye on. It was also in the same article.
Our fantasy baseball draft is going to be next Tuesday night, so file that one away.
Exciting times.
In my non-Philly area draft, I do it.
How's your? Are you going to need to call in your picks, considering your computer's about to self-destruct?
Thursday night I have my long-running 20-year fantasy baseball league draft, so we'll be sitting hopefully by a body of water, enjoying some alcohol while I become a social deviant and draft on my phone.
Okay.
But Christopher Sanchez is one I am kind of circling and targeting in my non-Philly area draft. My college buddies and I have been doing a league for 20 plus years. And Christopher Sanchez is definitely one of those sleeper guys I'm trying to grab this year.
Yeah. That's the thing. Fantasy baseball, for the piece they're putting out some sleeper picks, Christopher Sanchez is one of them. So great to see him getting some love as we are taking a look at that, because it definitely is he's someone that we've even talked about in the way that he's made progressions and grown and just has been very consistent. And you know where else you can focus on getting consistency and also great customer service? That's over at Mortgage CS. Mortgage CS, which stands for Mortgage Concierge Service. They are a white glove service located right here in Philadelphia. And they do a tremendous job providing you 24/7 customer service. They really want to make sure to educate and empower their clients. They want to provide their clients with ultra competitive rates. And then for their CEO, Ben and Alec, they also want to make sure that you have access to them any time of day, that you have a question. Maybe you want to talk about possible trips, possible places the Phillies could be playing, or you want to talk about the house buying process. When you hear the word mortgage, you want to think of Mortgage CS. You want to think of Ben and Alec. You can reach out to Ben. His phone number right on your screen, 267-391-7425. His email, ben@mortgagecs.com. And you can call, text, reach out any time of day, because they want to make sure that as the spring market is heating up, you are prepared to stand out, make the best offers possible, and also make an offer that makes sense for you and your financial picture, not Mortgage CS and their bottom line. They also provide refinancing options. That's right. Rate and term refinances for a rate payment reduction, or cash out refinances for maybe tapping into some home equity, looking to do a home project that needed some funding for it. Anything that you would like to refinance, specifically Mortgage CS can help with that. So licensed coast to coast, whether you're tuning into us here in the Philadelphia area or locally, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, DC, down south in Florida, where we'll be later, or out west, maybe in California, Colorado, they are licensed coast to coast, and of course up north in Massachusetts and various states there as well. So reach out to Mortgage CS. Get started today at mortgagecs.com/PHLY. And please know that this advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Mortgage CS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval and certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS ID number 1464766, and you can visit mortgagecs.com for more information.
Well, I'd consider us friends, right, guys? The three best friends anybody could have.
Nobody wanted to sit with me on the plane.
Well, I had to move out of the middle seat. I was sandwiched in between you and Tyler. Somehow I got the middle seat. So there was...
I actually have an aisle seat across from Tyler.
It has nothing to do with not wanting to sit next to you. It has everything to do with the fact that once we hit the air, I'm going to be sleeping like a bear.
Yeah. And a lot of people should laud me because what I did was relieve Tyler of the middle seat next to him. So if that doesn't get filled...
It's filled.
Oh, sorry, Tyler. I tried. I took the last row.
It is what it is.
By the lavatory, mind you, which is not a great seat, but I had to go aisle. And when I'm on that flight, Renee, I'm going to order a cold, delicious Miller Lite because we're traveling with friends and we're going to see our favorite baseball team. Woo. And Miller Lite is always better when you have friends and family around. And it's the light beer that tastes like a light beer should. A lot has changed over the years, but since 1975, the great taste of Miller Lite hasn't changed. I can already taste it. We'll be at the Chicky and Pete's in Terminal B. And I'm going to say 3 large, cold, delicious Miller Lights, please. And I'm going to get it.
Give me Miller Lite.
I need a Miller Lite. And you'll see the smile go ear to ear on my face because it means we're going to Florida. We're going to be in the airways. Woo! And Miller Lite, not only can you get it at the airport, you can get it probably in the skies. You can get it at airport bars. You can get it at baseball stadiums, beer distributors. Pretty much anywhere that beer is sold, you have a great chance of finding Miller Lite. And it's best when friends and family are around. I love telling people over at the house, head down to the beer fridge, grab yourself a Miller Lite. Because Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste, and only 96 calories. As I got out of the shower today, my daughter said, "Dad, I can see your big belly." And I said, "I know, it's Miller Lite season. I'm trying to slim down. Only 96 calories, low grams of sugar. It's the light beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. Less filling and only 96 calories. The original light beer since 1975. Time change, but you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Taste like Miller time. Go to MillerLite.com/PHLY to find out how to get it delivered right to your doorstep. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere beer is sold. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces.
Your daughter did not do that.
Oh, yeah. She roasted my ass this morning. I was walking out of the shower.
Kids are mean.
Yeah.
Why are kids so rude?
She goes,
Where did
Dad,
they learn that?
I see your big belly. And I was like, yeah, Dad does have a big belly. And then Paige, my 2.5-year-old, goes, yeah, big belly, Dad. And I was like, Jesus,
they
you
ganged
two?
up on you.
Yeah, they doubled up. They dropped the
All
people's
of our
elbow.
reasons, like, peace, I'm out of here.
I don't know.
Dad's gone for the week.
I was like, before you two, I used to exercise and be active.
Oh, you're one of those now.
No,
That's such a classic parent line.
Them,
okay.
It's
I
just
feel
my
like
own
most
lazy
parents find themselves saying, well, before you, I was cool, I was fun, I was slim, I was this.
I don't know how you guys operated with your siblings or if you had siblings.
Yeah.
However, you think about that now. Like me and my brother used to fight a lot. And then the tides turned, then me and my brother became like this infamous duo that teamed up on mom and dad instead.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, do my parents wish we were back to us fighting amongst ourselves?
Research shows it's good for you to fight with your siblings because you're learning how to deal with, conflict resolution, de-escalating situations, how to speak up for yourself.
Sure. My brother's one of my best friends now.
Fight. Yeah,
we
and
just fought a lot when we were kids.
Me and my sisters especially, and we didn't fight with my brother as much. We would get into screaming matches.
I was a dickhead to
we would cuss each other out. Yeah. We never got into like physical fights, but we would just verbally drag each other. So yeah, it's good for you. What's up, K-Red? Yes, I am here. I am back, and I'm ready for us to get to Florida. I know, Randy, you're asking about, does the PHLY crew clap when they land?
No,
I'm not one of those.
No. Actually, with all the Boeing airline problems that have been going on, maybe we should clap.
And then also I started binging a show yesterday that was about a plane.
Did you see the whistleblower story?
Say. I don't, it's hard to like read that stuff because then it makes you nervous when you travel.
You just can't think about anything. We can talk about it and then just throw it right
I'm a Virgo. How do I not think about that stuff?
So maybe we should clap upon landing.
I know. I do let out a big sigh of relief, like, whew, we land. I get comfortable once I can start to see the ground because I'm like, God forbid something happens. We're close enough that I feel like we could survive that fall. But yeah, I'm excited. Girl dad all the way for Chris Lemmer too. You're saying your daughter Molly does the same thing. Yeah. And yeah, Ray's saying there's nothing wrong with a belly. He rocks his with pride. That's right. You rock those bellies, everybody.
This is the ideal male body.
Rock with the dad bod that your children gave you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that being said,
Miller 96 calories. That's my beer of summer.
All right, let's move on here because we got a lot to get through in this next stretch before we wrap up to get to the plane. Now, there's been some things going on around the league, most importantly with the Yankees. Here's the latest of what's going on so far. Now, as we remember talking about, we've discussed here this week, Gerrit Cole, there's been the questionable and scary situation that's going on depending on who you're a fan of. The Yankees did come out, as we heard earlier this week, with their manager, Aaron Boone, saying that Gerrit Cole needed to get that MRI. He was having issues with his recovery. And Boone was saying that he described it as his recovery before getting to his next start has been more like what he feels during the season when he's making 100 pitches. But right now he's throwing 45 and 55, so he usually doesn't have the recovery issues that he's having currently. And that's Cole mentioned it's just been more of a challenge. His body's been feeling more taxed. So they went to get an MRI to check on things. They have been trying on the outside to keep calm, cool, and collected, but it feels like there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. Yeah. Bigger picture, keep in mind, the Yankees also have already dealing with issues in their rotation. Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, two guys that are coming back from injuries. Aaron Judge also had to undergo an MRI on Monday. He had issues in his abdominal area. The six-pack clearly was giving him problems.
See, muscles are a problem.
Apparently, muscles are a problem. That's why it's better to have a big belly.
You have to take care of them and stuff.
Aaron Judge was saying that he's been swinging from November all the way till now, and he feels like every single day he was just putting the wear and tear on it, and that he's been having discomfort in the middle of his abs. So you guys don't have that problem.
Nope.
You don't have to worry about discomfort in your abs.
No ab uncomfortableness here.
Middle of his abs in his oblique. Do you have issues in your obliques?
Nope, my obliques are fine. Working out is dangerous.
He feels it mostly when he's following through his swing. So they ran tests. Everything did come back good, but he was a little banged up and needed a couple days of rest. So the Yankees are dealing with the wear and the tear, and been an issue. Now that leads us to where we are today. Dylan Cease has returned to the chat. He's back, guys. The conversation is back. Of course, we remember Dylan Cease heavily being in trade talks before. Well, allegedly, the Yankees have made a new offer to Dylan Cease. Bob Nightingale put that out. The Yankees have decided to re-engage with the White Sox for a trade for him. Now, prior to this, there was the potential of who was going to be moved in that trade for the Yankees. They are trying not to move one of their top prospects, outfielder Spencer Jones. They're wanting to hold on to the 22-year-old. But who knows who the Yankees would move. More importantly, Dylan Cease has been brought back to the conversation, which means, A, is this Gerrit Cole situation a little bit more than we thought? Or maybe, as we know that the Yankees did offer Blake Snell, who we'll talk about in a moment.
Who's the number 60 on that list and is still a free agent.
Yeah. They offered Blake Snell. Blake Snell rejected it. They took the offer back. So they did already want to add another arm. But now it's Dylan Cease back in the conversation.
Yeah, I think it's part of both of those things. I think they've always been looking to add another arm, and I think the Gerrit Cole situation's probably a little worse than most Yankee fans are hoping for. I saw the Michael Kay show in New York yesterday, and they have boots on the ground with the Yankees and stuff. Said the Yankees will do cartwheels if he's only out a month. That was the quote coming from them. Yeah,
they've been like leaking out some things that show it's a little bit more serious. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more serious.
So it looks like there's a good chance here that Gerrit Cole's gonna, definitely start the year on the IL here. How long that is, hopefully for his sake, it's only like a month and a half or so. But I think it's part more serious and part they're all in. So why not go get a Dylan Cease or a Blake Snell or a Jordan Montgomery? It's still wild to me that it's March 13th and 2 players on the top 100 list that ESPN just released are still available. And the Yankees, look, the White Sox are going to suck. Tyler, your boy Luis Robert hit a bomb yesterday.
Yeah.
So him and Dylan Cease are all they got out there.
He's pretty good.
But it looks like Dylan Cease is probably not there long.
He will cease to be there. I know Spiral Out is saying #free Herb. Yes, our poor guy Herb out there. And then, Matthew H., tell us that Cole is hurt without telling us that he's hurt. Yeah, when you go kind of sounding the alarm, right, to bring in, and, you're looking to go back for Dylan Cease, concerning. And yes, Randy agreed. New York's going to have to deploy the National Guard to the Bronx next week if there's a Gerrit Cole injury. Listen, that is breaking news for them because of just how excited, obviously, bringing in, Juan Soto and all the offseason moves they've been making. It's been to bolster this team, to add to having a healthy Aaron Judge all season, to add to having a Gerrit Cole. And now one of the top guys in the league, possibly out. Not good that he's having still pain in his
no.
I saw it was his elbow, but then I saw it was his elbow, his right elbow, I believe it was, not the left. So it's his right elbow. Yeah. So that's even more concerning. It is his right elbow that he's having issues in. So with that, as you mentioned, elbow, he
would just pitch.
Right. You just I mean, what do you need 2 arms for? So like you mentioned, Dylan Cease's name brought up. Blake Snell's name has not been brought up. In fact, it's been reported that the Yankees have not gone back and do not have interest in having that conversation with Blake Snell. So here's the wild part. It's sad about Gerrit Cole. I never want to wish an injury on anybody. It's scary that they have to bring in Dylan Cease because that means it probably is more serious. But it's almost comical in a way. Like, Blake Snell rejected the Yankees' offer. And then now that the Yankees are in need of bringing someone in, they still, it's like you have that bad ex, like you refuse to go back to. They still don't want to go back to Blake Snell. As we know, Blake Snell reportedly wanted to have a deal worth over $200 million. The Yankees are not interested.
I can't wait to see what he ends up getting. And did Scott Boras botch this?
Yeah.
Because I do think, look, Scott Boras has been great at his job and still probably is great at his job. And he's probably going to get more money for both than we realize here at March 13th. But I think teams are just like, I don't know. I feel like they're Heismaning Scott Boras here and trying to keep him at arm's length and not get bullied by him anymore. Because, like we talked about before, you can do this with a Bryce Harper at age 26. Yeah. That's generational. You can do it. Does he have Juan Soto? I forget. He might. Whatever. Regardless, when you have a special player, you can bully teams. When you have Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell, and I know he's a 2-time Cy Young winner, he is a Boras guy. Yeah, like Juan Soto next year. He's going to go, Steve Cohen, give me your checkbook. Yep. I'll fill it out, and you sign it. But with Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, I think teams are like, yeah, we like him, but not at that price or not at that length. And now it's mid-March, and they're not going to be ready for opening day. And it's pretty weird. So we'll see what happens. I'm fascinated to see not only where they land, but how much money they get and for how long. And if it does become a 1-year deal, I know it takes the Phillies into a next threshold, and I know there's penalties with that. But you have to wonder at some point soon, these possibly could be 1-year prove-it type deals again. And do the Phillies just say F it and throw their hat in the ring? Part of me thinks they still might. I know what they say. Middleton was asked about it the other day by somebody, whether it was Gelb or Lovers, and he said, I don't know what else there is to say. We love our rotation. We love our lineup. I'm just reiterating what Dave said. But, you just get the sense that maybe if this market really collapses, they could think about moving Taiwan and going and getting one of these guys.
Yeah. Listen, it's wild to think that Blake Snell's still out there, and I know, Randy, you're saying in the chat that his asking price just skyrocketed, and Matthew's agreeing with you, and so is Ray. To be honest, the Yankees don't have to bring in Blake Snell. They can bring in a Dylan Cease. I know last year was not as great of a year as 2022 for Dylan Cease, but
if I'm the Yankees, I'd rather give up prospects than money at this point.
If you can trade for Dylan Cease versus Blake Snell, who already rejected your offer once, I think that's the direction they're going to go.
Well, and I'd rather have Cease over Snell.
Exactly.
At least I would.
Now, Blake Snell, as we know, has been tied to the Angels. They are favorites to sign him, but as we also know that the reports came out, Snell is considering and willing to sign a short-term contract with opt-out clauses that could absolutely keep the Phillies secretly in play. Jordan Montgomery's a tricky one, and I was just reading the latest on him is that he wants a long-term deal.
Dude, it's March 13th. I don't think you're in control anymore.
The season starts in 15 days, and Jordan Montgomery is looking for, as he's entering age 31, he wants something north of like 4 years. He's seeking a 7-year deal, according to John Heyman.
Okay, good luck.
So
I mean, he might get it. Who knows?
The Red Sox have been linked to him, but Jordan Montgomery is seeking a nice 7-year deal, according to John Heyman, which probably puts him out of position for the Phillies, to say the least. But definitely a team like the Red Sox might be interested in Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, the Red Sox are interesting. I don't know what the hell happened.
Very odd. Yeah,
they used to always be up there, top 3, 4, 5 teams in baseball and money spent, and now they're just like, they have Rafael Devers, and they're just like, yeah, we're good. We'll trade away Mookie Betts, and we won't invest in starting pitching, and we'll give the ball to who's their opening day starter, the former Nick Pivetta. You know, like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and
you would think Theo Epstein, who's now new on board with the Fenway Group, has something up the sleeve, but no, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox are very unlikely to be able to land Montgomery because of him wanting a long term of 7 years.
I want a long term, but that doesn't mean they're out there for me, Renee.
It is March. I mean, at this point, it's March 13th, and you're still waiting. So to me, I think you should just be like, I want a deal. I just want a deal. You know, whatever deal makes sense. Be respectful of my talent. I just want a deal, not like I want a long-term deal, a long-term deal. I don't want anything less than 4 years. So yeah, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell are asking for a lot. Scott Boras is the Boras 4 now down to Boras 2. As he's still waiting for his 2 big names on the market.
Did you just see the face I made, and were you wondering why?
No, what'd you read?
I made like a real like.
Oh, what's wrong? What happened?
Aroldis Chapman just posted something on his Instagram story that's quite strange. He posted this, Renee, and that appears to be his grandmother. Or an older woman. I'm not going to. He's honking his grandma's boobs on the couch while they're cuddling. So I thought you saw my face because I totally got mentally derailed at Aroldis Chapman honking his grandma's boobs. And then for some reason, put it on Instagram.
I need to do
your
some
thoughts.
Digging. I need to do some digging. I have to put on my.
Do you think he's into older women and that's his like partner, or do you think that's his grandma? What does your gut say, Renee?
My gut is saying that's not his grandma.
Maybe he's into older women.
Although I do know, like,
she has legit gray hair.
No, she's like 75.
She's a mima. To everybody in the chat that's like,
you know what? She's old because this day and age, grandmas don't even look like grandmoms.
Yeah,
so
true.
I know she's old because grandmas these days look like they're like these 40, 50-year-old.
You ever
baddies.
seen the meme of Steve Martin?
She's a full-on. No,
it's the meme from My Daughter's Wedding, or what's that movie? What's the famous movie? Come on, Diane Keaton and Steve Martin.
Father of the Bride.
I'm still looking up.
Father of the Bride.
It's
a picture of those two on the couch talking to their daughter, and it was like, in 1992, this is what 45-year-olds look like.
Golden Girls.
So Aroldis Chapman, I don't.
This woman is probably like 75, 80.
Yeah,
she's very gray,
and she's honking,
very old, and
rubbing her belly.
I do know
she looks quite comfortable.
There are some people that like to smack the butts of like a relative.
Sure. But that's like a 3 or 4 squeeze.
But that was like a full-on squeeze. That was a lot.
That was like a breast cancer check.
And that was like a real squeeze. That wasn't like this family.
If you're curious and want to look for yourself,
I don't see it on his story.
Just Twitter search Aroldis Chapman. His Instagram handle is _the Cuban Missile 54.
I don't know.
Tyler, I want your eyes to see this.
Nope, I'm good.
So you know what
it's
Renee.
Gone off of his.
Yeah, maybe because he's getting roasted online.
It's gone off of his Instagram. His
well,
story
it's still
is
on.
empty.
People saved it. The internet is forever. People keep receipts. The Baseball King on Twitter has it.
I want to see what people are. Okay, so Aroldis Chapman at 36 could be a Cub.
So
maybe
top
he loves
3
Cougars.
first basemen.
So
Randy's saying
you wake up sometimes,
he likes
Tyler,
some GILFs. Actually, I'm gonna call it GILFs, not
Yeah.
even GMILFs. But he might be into some GILFs.
I didn't have Aroldis Chapman grabbing grandma boobs on my bingo card this morning, Tyler, but sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, people are saying he's groping an older woman. Nobody's saying it's his grandmom. To be honest, there's no reports that it's his grandmom.
Maybe he's into older ladies. I don't know.
They're saying maybe his mom. I don't think that's his mom.
That's even weirder if it's your mom. If it's your grandmom, I could go, okay, maybe.
He squeezed each. This is so funny. I just have to read what this article says. I'm going to skip over the part about like who he is because we already know who he is.
And then we'll get right into the top first baseman.
It shows Chapman lying on a couch, snuggling up against an older gray-haired woman. Mm-hmm. Chapman squeezes each of her breasts while she gently tries to brush his hands away. Before he stops groping with his hands, he kisses her right breast over her clothing. Her legs are under a blanket and she appears completely clothed. This is what somebody actually had to write in a piece because Chapman decided it was fun to grope and like you said, it's not a selfie video. Like this looks like somebody else either took it or it's on a tripod. Like somebody is videoing him
a lot of weird
groping this older woman. So there's a third person in the room, at least watching all this happen.
Quite strange.
Yeah, people are claiming it's his mom, but nobody's confirming who she is. So that's weird. I do know some kids that do some weird things to their parents because they think it's funny, but like you're groping her several times.
Yeah,
it's a little.
I had to get that off my timeline.
Yeah, because you're gonna have a lot of other things coming your way. Yeah, we already know Chapman's been involved in some other questionable behavior. This is definitely the latest, so do not look at that video unless you are ready to be very surprised. All right. So that being said, thank you, Jamie, for interrupting our conversation and talk about it because, when you're at home, you never know what's going to happen, but you do know what's going to happen when you reach out to a great company in Empire Today. Yes, I just did that transition because we're moving along here. So Empire Today, the place that allows you to shop at home conveniently to find the right products for your needs. They've got quick and professional installations and a price match guarantee. And with Empire Today, they're the best place to get new flooring and to make sure that you can have opportunities to find the floor that fits you. For my fellow fixer-uppers, HGTV types of fiends like myself that enjoy some at-home projects, reach out to Empire Today. Their philosophy is to help find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. They want to make sure that the selection process is easy. And then they also have a virtual floor designer that allows you to see how that new floor is going to look in your space. Get an idea of how does this carpet match my paint or my furniture? Does it fit with the lighting? Over at Empire Today, they really simplify the process for you and they pride themselves on their convenience. They also provide great customer service to help find the floors exactly for you. So that way you can decorate your home to fit your style. You can schedule a free, our favorite price, in-home estimate today at Empire Today. And all listeners can also receive a $350 off and get that discount when you use the promo code PHLY. Some restrictions may apply, but check out empiretoday.com/PHLY for more details to be able to get started today with great customer service, virtual floor designers that allow you to be able to snap a picture, see that flooring in your new home, and also get and take advantage of a free in-home estimate. So again, that's code PHLY. Head on over to empiretoday.com/PHLY to get that $350 off when you use the promo code PHLY. Empire today.
Empire. And let me just tell you briefly about some great stuff we have going on here at PHLY. Of course, we're heading down to spring training today with our buddies over at Phillies Sports Trips. But if you become a diehard, you can get not only some free merch, and we have a whole new line of merch coming out pretty soon. You get the diehard newsletter, but news access, the website access from guys like Charlie O'Connor and Zach Berman and Derek Bodner, who are doing great stuff. You know, Zach and Bo just broke one of the Eagles signings the other day. So they're putting up lots of great diehard content on allphly.com. You get a free piece of merch. You get discounts to events coming up. Renee, myself, and Tyler are going to be down at Bet Parks, right next to Citizens Bank Park for opening day. The Flyers guys, I think there's only like 2 or 4 tickets left for the takeover that's happening. So you get discounts to stuff like this in the future. You get access to our Discord channel where we have a lot of great, it's a great community and a lot of great sports conversations, music, college sports, movies and TV, a lot of good stuff going on in there. So if you want to think about becoming a diehard and supporting us, we would love you forever. But you get discounts, you get free merch, you get a lot of great stuff. Discord and our fantasy baseball league. There's a lot of good stuff here happening at PHLY, and there's going to be more coming in the very near future. So consider joining us at allphly.com and becoming a diehard.
All right. Well, we are rolling through because, of course, we've got to get to the airport so we can get down to Clearwater. And we're trying to get out of here quickly, but we're struggling. So just to run through our top 3 first basemen. We've been doing our rankings for each position of Phillies all-time list because we're going to be creating our depth chart. Today, we're going to roll through it as well. Now, the interesting thing that I want to say about this is as we're looking at these names for best all-time with the Phillies, there are some names that are best-time Phillies players, but they didn't have a long tenure with the team, injuries, things like that. Jim told me one of those names that comes to mind. So starting things off with number 3.
You have 2 Hall of Famers that don't make the list.
I know.
They just weren't here long enough.
I know. And that's what I want to, people are going to be like, why don't you have them on your list? But to clarify,
we'll just name them.
Their time in Philly, and they had to be healthy. And when you have a number of injury-plagued seasons or you didn't play as long, there's the first base
Jim
list.
told me literally got moved because our number 1 guy was so good. Yeah. Pete Rose was only here a short amount of time. Yep. Obviously helped win a World Series for the Phillies. But those 2 didn't make the list. They're Hall of Fame players. They're great all-time. I mean, it's the hit king. What?
Pete Rose is on our list.
Pete Rose is. Sorry, Jim told me.
It's like, wait a minute. Pete is not our number 3.
But Jim told me. I'm sorry. Brain fart.
So,
just Jim told me. Hall of Fame player.
Made the list at number 3, and the reason we have him number 3 and not higher is because of his 5 years with the Phillies. He is a guy that actually most first basemen, as I was looking, did not play a long time with the Phillies. Pete Rose, one of them. So 5 years with the Phillies. In that time, from 79 to 83, played in just 745 games. His splits, 291, 365, 361. Had 826 hits, though, 8 home runs, and 139 doubles, 255 RBIs, 390 runs, 51 stolen bases, and 4 times as an All-Star. In 1981, he led the league in OBP. In 1979, listen, Pete Rose is one that, had he been here longer, his tenure was pretty short. He was definitely one that helped take the Phillies to the next level, was definitely a big part of the 1980 World Series team. Pete Rose, a great player, one of the best, but time was the craziest thing that I noticed with first baseman. I'm like, is this a common theme that first baseman outside of our number 1 do not have a long tenure here in Philly?
Yeah, he's a Red to me. Like, when he goes to the Hall of Fame, it's like, Pete Rose was a Red. But, a career almost 80 WAR player, OPS plus for his career, 118. And like you said, it just wasn't long enough here, but I mean, he's an all-time player. He's the hit king. It's one of the coolest nicknames of all time, his personality notwithstanding. But, Pete Rose is an all-timer. Charlie Hustle, he's the hit king.
Exactly.
Tyler?
I have nothing good to say about Pete Rose. I hate Pete Rose. I think he's a terrible human being, and I'm not going to expound on this any further. Statistically, he's an elite baseball player, but I wish nothing but the absolute worst for Pete Rose for the rest of his life. And we'll move on.
Okay. Wow. Tyler chose violence today.
He's a terrible human being, and I have no good things to say about him.
I would argue that Dykstra's probably worse.
He's also bad. I have no good things to say about him either.
Okay. I know Travis Lee has been brought up as well.
I was a Ricky Jordan man. I was convinced he was going to be like the future. It's Travis Lee, Rico Brogna, Travis Lee, Ricky Jordan, and Rico Brogna. Those were like the three of the 90s outside of number 2 that I was like, yeah, maybe these guys got a shot.
Yeah, I see Tommy. I see Travis.
Tojo.
Travis Lee only played 2 years with the Phillies.
Yeah, he was in the Schilling trade, right? With Omar
Another
Dahl
one.
And
it's just
Nelson
Figueroa.
And
Vicente Padilla.
I'm not going to lie.
And Padilla was a part of that? It was a 4-player trade. All right.
As we were going through this list and I was like researching other first basemen, I was kind of concerned because I'm like, wait a minute, is this a first baseman thing that they only play with the Phillies for like 3-4 years? Very, very odd.
Except number 2 on this list.
Number 2 on our list is Crooks. John Crook, who played with the Phillies for 6 years. And with that time, he was a 3-time All-Star. In his 6 years, 744 games, his splits 309, 400, 461, 790 hits, 62 home runs, 145 doubles, 390 RBIs, 403 runs, and 33 stolen bases. Again, 3-time All-Star, an 18.5 WAR, which is second in Phillies history for first baseman, which is why he's also second on our list in Phillies history for first baseman. He had a tremendous ability to just smash balls. His batting average, his on-base percentage from 90 to 93 at 306 to 403. That 18.5 WAR, phenomenal that it's so high in Phillies history, which has landed him on our number 2 spot.
Yeah, only 2 years here below batting 300, and he hit 294 and 291. Tremendous batter. 331, 323, 316, 302, 308. Wild. His on base, was over 400 a couple of those seasons, as high as 430. He had enough pop, for a traditional first baseman. You probably wanted a little bit more, but he had enough during his prime. Could drive in runs. Most importantly, had a high of 92 during his year here, but had 85 a couple other times. Really good glove, and just like a pros batter. And the Crucker was awesome during his time here.
Yeah, really solid player. I mean, when I was diving into his numbers, like you knew that John Kruk had a nice tenure here. And then you'd start to dive into the numbers a little bit further and you go, actually, this guy was better than nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was really, really solid. And like you
said, career
25
WAR, OPS plus of 134 for his career.
Like you said, I think the was it? You said 291 and 292 were the lows for his time here. I mean, good run in San Diego, a good run in Philly, and the inverse of the last person that we were talking about, a genuinely good human being,
very genuinely
beloved
good.
amongst
retirement story.
Beloved amongst this city. He's in the broadcast booth. Whether you find him quirky or you enjoy him, whatever the case may
quirky.
Be. He's in the Phillies broadcast booth, and people really gravitate towards John Kruk as one of the good guys of baseball. So not on top of the fact that his numbers are legit. I like that. You like this guy as a human being too.
Yes.
Really kind of pairs well, but really almost underrated, I think, because of like you think he's good, and actually he was close to really good or great.
Yeah, I mean, he also was one that received NL MVP award votes in every year that he was an All-Star. So all 3 of those All-Star seasons, he was up pretty high for NL MVP award voting. But yeah, just an all-around nice person. And again, going to be on our show in April. I'm going to keep saying, because he told me, and he said he's going to join us here in April in studio. So it's going to happen. We are getting closer and closer to having John on the show. All right. With that, let's get into our number 1 spot. It is the Big Piece.
I don't think anybody's surprised here.
Ryan Howard, who was one of the longest tenured first basemen to ever wear a Phillies jersey, with 13 years with the Phillies, played in over 1,500 games, splits 258, 343, 515, had 1,475 hits, 382 of those home runs, 277 were doubles, 1,194 RBIs, 848 runs scored, 12 stolen bases. He was in 2005 Rookie of the Year. He was an NL MVP in 06. 3-time he received top 5 voting. 3 times he was the RBI leader as well. He's a Silver Slugger. He's a World Series champ. He's the big piece. He finished in the top 10 6 years in a row for NL MVP total. For him to have had that remarkable stretch, specifically when you look at even like 2004 to 2011, in that stretch, his splits 275, 368, 560 for a 928 OPS and a 138 OPS plus, where he had 286 home runs during that time and 864 RBIs. I mean, this is the big piece.
He is my second favorite Philly of all time, behind Mike Schmidt. Love Ryan Howard. His 2006 season is one of the most silly things I've ever seen. I mean, he had, what's bizarre about this, and Tyler hates WAR because it can lie and it can be.
I don't hate WAR. I just think you need to use it in context.
You don't use it as your guiding light. We'll say that. Ryan Howard has the worst WAR of John Kruk for a career of John Kruk, Jim Thome, Pete Rose. So that's where I go, okay, WAR's stupid. Because that 5 or 6 year stretch, Ryan Howard had one of the most productive run-producing streaks in Major League Baseball history. If you just took that 6 year sample size and stacked it up against some of the all-time greats, I mean, his 2006 year, the man batted .313, had a .425 on base, and hit 58 home runs with 149 RBIs.
Insane.
His RBI stretch, 149, 136, 146, 141, 108, 116 is absolutely bonkers. The big piece was must-watch TV. I loved watching him hit bombs. And he's a doorstep Hall of Fame player. Probably doesn't get in, but one of my all-time favorite Phillies.
And here's some more records for you. Now, you talk about those 58 home runs in 2006. That is a Phillies single-season home run record. He also led the league in home runs in 2006 and 2008 with the 48. Paced the league in RBIs in 2006, 2008, and 2009, as we talked about. And then also is the all-time leader among first basemen in games, plate appearances, runs, hits, doubles, home runs, and RBIs, and second with a .515 slugging percentage. And as Ken Griffey Jr. once said, he said, "I'm not a home run hitter. He's a home run hitter."
I will say, I think over that 4 year stretch that you guys are alluding to, the 06 to 09 stretch specifically, I would venture a guess to say that Ryan Howard was probably the third best hitter in baseball over that 4 year stretch. And the only guys that I probably would take over him, for varying reasons, was Albert Pujols, who had less home runs, had 165 home runs, but he also hit .335 and slugged almost .640, which is just off the charts. Good.
He's the most underrated player ever.
And then the other guy that I would consider is Miguel Cabrera, because he hit .320 over that time. And again, the home runs were less, but he was a Triple Crown winner. He actually didn't win his MVP till a little bit later. But like, those three guys were probably the three most feared hitters in baseball for that 4 year stretch. And Ryan Howard could conceivably have a claim to being number one.
Yeah. I know in the chat you guys are saying some interesting comments. Josh specifically mentioning it's a shame he came up so late because of Thome, and he couldn't play just a bit longer. He'd be a shoo-in for Hall of Fame. I know that is something that Jim gets, and something that even you can read about, that people still talk about, that Jim may have definitely hindered that shoo-in for the big piece to be a Hall of Famer. But yeah, his numbers were absolutely remarkable. That stretch was iconic. I know you guys are talking about in the chats. Remarkable. Oh no, did you see another video of somebody groping older women?
I just saw a tweet that says, Aroldis Chapman is touching 75. Yikes.
Oh.
Elbow injury? ? No, so much worse.
Jeez. Aroldis Chapman, stop groping older women. All right, well, that is our top 3 for first baseman. Pete Rose starting things off at number 3. Then, of course, having John Kruk and Ryan Howard at number 1. So we're rolling through as we're getting closer and closer to creating our overall depth chart. And it's been a fun time. We're getting closer to opening day at Citizens Bank Park, March 28th. We're just 15 days away from that. And although Jonathan India may have come out and said, second baseman for the Reds, He doesn't like Citizens Bank Park because of the weather and the fans. We love it there, and we can't wait to be back there. So looking forward to being back there. But first, we'll be headed down to Clearwater today in just a few hours. So you guys have got some great, exciting things coming up for you this week. And from today all the way through Monday that we'll be down there. Thanks to Philly Sports Trips for making this happen, that we'll be able to bring you guys some great interviews. We'll be live streaming our shows down there for the rest of the week.
1 o'clock Thursday and Friday.
1 o'clock. So we're later in the day. We had an early start today. We're going to be later Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday and Friday, 1 p.m. Set your reminders. We'll be down live from the ballpark. It's going to be great, and you guys are going to have an opportunity to be able to see some great behind-the-scenes stuff. So thanks for tuning in. We will see you in Florida. Give us a follow as we're giving you some great updates. And for Tyler, Jamie, myself, Renee, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you guys from down under, down south. Bye, guys.